more. That's it. That's what I'm used to. What a fantastic day for Newport. What a fantastic weekend for Newport. I was over in Rodney Parade watching that football match on Friday night. The Tour of Britain finishing. I said to my friends in the cabinet there as they whizzed past, I couldn't cycle from the Transporter Bridge into town, let alone all the way from Carmarthen. I mean, what a sense of athleticism, but what a sense of purpose. So, prynhawn da pawb a chroeso I Casnewydd y Prynhawn 'ma. I'd like to welcome you all to Newport this afternoon. This Velodrome renaming ceremony is for us providing the perfect end to a fantastic day in our city and a fantastic event as the Tour of Britain ends in that first stage. I'd especially like to thank Geraint for returning to the Velodrome today after a gruelling day of racing to join our renaming celebration. A fitting tribute for what is going to be, I'm sure, one of the greatest Welsh sporting heroes that we'll ever see. Indeed. And the renaming of our Velodrome is a fitting tribute for Geraint, who has achieved so much in his sport. I met him a couple of weeks ago down at the Senedd, and I was touched by the attitude of the guy. He's so humble, so laid back. He takes it all in his stride, and what a fantastic ambassador for his sport and for our country. I'm not going to say the same joke, he's done more in 21 days than I've done in 21 years, because I've worked hard in 21 years, but I may not be able to cycle as fast, or even cycle at all. But what he's achieved in his sport is beyond compare. We're so proud, we're so grateful that we're able to do this. So, diolch yn fawr iawn, Minister, because the ability for Welsh Government and us to work together to turn this around so quickly is amazing. If only we could do other things in 3 weeks. But there we are. So well done.
We'll have a go.
So diolch yn fawr iawn i chi. And it's just, that attitude, both professional and personal, is a fantastic role model for young people and for the young people that are going to come after him in this wonderful sport. So, diolch yn fawr iawn am dod. Thank you so much for coming, and especially diolch I Geraint. Thank you, Geraint.
Ladies and gentlemen, our special guest, Mr. Geraint Thomas, and the Geraint. Well, I don't need to say too much. And very quickly, because we've got limited time, we're very, very grateful, Team Sky, and for Geraint to come out of his schedule, come out of that race, hours on the road, and then come and work with us. That's the character. So, Geraint, please follow me. So, on the G. Geraint, thank you very, very much for coming today to honour the city. Now, my colleagues have prepared a little surprise for you, which we'd like to unveil, and see what you think. Team.
Nice and big and bold, isn't it? Very nice.
Well, you've won the biggest race in the world. Double Olympic gold medalist. And now he gets to adorn our building. What does it feel like to have your name in lights everywhere, let alone on Wales's national velodrome, or as it's now called, the Geraint Thomas National Velodrome of Wales?
Yay.
it's kind of strange, really. You dream of like racing and going across the line with your arms in the air, but you never think about the aftermath and, you know, all the accolades and things. And well, you know, I remember coming here in 2004, watching the guys training for the Olympics. I just won the Junior Worlds, and well, I never would have thought then, you know, be standing here with that up there, and you know, being called the Geraint Thomas Velodrome is yeah, nice. Thanks.
Fantastic. But I think it encapsulates what Wales now thinks of you as our ambassador. To cross the line with that flag, having won the greatest cycling race in the world, is phenomenal. I have to ask you, the Tour, take you back to the Tour. What was the toughest moment on the Tour? And followed up with, when did you really know that it was your time?
Might sound a bit strange, but probably the toughest was Alpe d'Huez stage. Even though I ended up winning it, it was just a really hard stage, long, hot day. Probably suffered the most on that day. When it comes to when I thought I could win, I guess after that stage was obviously a big boost, but I think it was probably the last mountaintop, the really short mountain stage. Froome lost a bit of time that day, and I was still feeling, you know, strong and good, and so probably then was like, oh, this could be a good race. But yeah, I tried not to think, like I was saying in the press all the time, you know, just day after day, and that's really all I was trying to do. Otherwise, you might sort of yeah, get a bit carried away.
I think you were right to get carried away in your own mind without telling people, because you clearly believed, and everyone believed in you. And I came in most mornings for 3 weeks, and with a little crew of us have done Newport's Tour de France. I think it'll be called something different next year. Indoor cycling, where our colleagues created Alpe d'Huez, etc. And we did 40 minutes of it, and we walked out of there dying and crying, trust me. Not thinking, I've got this, I can come back tomorrow and smash it. Everybody, Geraint, incredible.
Thank you.
One final question from me, which has gone away from me, so it's a good job I know what it is. Wales National Velodrome was now Geraint Thomas National Velodrome of Wales, the Geraint Thomas Velodrome. What would you like it to be in the future? What do you see as the velodrome which sits behind your name? What would you like?
Well, don't change it again. I think, yeah, if it can inspire kids to just ride their bikes and, you know, not competitively as such, just to enjoy riding the bike and, you know, a healthy lifestyle and everything that it brings. I think, you know, for me, the mainly flyers and, you know, the years after that, it just taught me so much off the bike as well, not just about training and things, but you learn so much more about being part of a team, etc., etc. And so yeah, if more and more people can come and enjoy the velodrome and enjoy riding their bikes, and well, yeah, that'll be great.
Well, thank you very much, everybody. I give you Geraint Thomas, Tour de France 2018 champion, double Olympic medalist. Geraint now has some media